Most of us believe we love our children unconditionally. We celebrate the milestones, the first steps, the high marks, the polite behavior. But hiding inside those cheers is a quiet, dangerous transaction. We are teaching our children that our deepest affection arrives precisely when they perform well. When a smile or a warm hug is the reward for compliance, affection becomes a currency. The child learns to equate their value with their actions, their doing, rather than their simple existence. To keep that love flowing, they realize they have to keep delivering. They contour their personalities, suppress their messy emotions, and mold themselves into whatever version of a child keeps the adults around them happy. Over time, the noise of these external expectations drowns out their internal compass. Instead of listening to their own instincts or natural curiosity, they prioritize the constant, exhausting habit of scanning the room for approval. Beneath the tantrums, the silence, and the desperate attempts to please, every child is quietly trying to figure out their place in the family dynamic. Look at the text in this excerpt. Every child is constantly asking 3 silent questions to measure their self-worth. Am I seen? Am I worthy? Do I matter? If we only light up when they score a goal or clean their room, their internal answers warp. They start to believe they are only seen, worthy, and mattering when they are useful or successful. Denied validation for their core humanity, they bury their true nature. In its place, they construct a false, anxious self, an ego built entirely around surviving the expectations of their parents. Clinical psychologist Dr. Shefali Tsabary offers a different approach. She advocates for accepting the child in their as-is state, exactly as they are, without the snares of parental expectations. The societal default treats children as blank slates. We assume our job is to project our own fantasies onto them, molding them into a miniature version of ourselves or some idealized standard of perfection. The as-is approach dissolves that illusion. A child arrives already wired with their own unique spirit, temperament, and blueprint. They are an entire universe unto themselves, waiting to be discovered rather than dictated to. Adulthood is obsessed with the constant, anxious pressure of doing. Childhood, however, is the domain of simply being. Our role is not to goad them into action with carrots and sticks. It is to provide a safe, quiet context where they have the space to awaken to their own natural inclinations. Consider a report card with a C grade. The traditional reaction is immediate panic. Voices raise, privileges are revoked, and the parent projects a terrifying narrative of failure and a ruined future directly onto the child. But that panic has very little to do with the child's actual abilities. It stems from the parent's own ego, their internal sense of lack, and their terror of how society will judge them for raising an average student. Notice the text here. A conscious approach changes how we see this moment. A C grade can be a chance for the birth of self-awareness, completely separate from the child's core worth. Accepting the as-is state does not mean ignoring the struggle. You can still set boundaries and offer guidance. As this passage suggests, you can reframe the subject as a muscle that needs to be strengthened, focusing on the desire to grow, rather than slapping the child with a negative label. Experiencing pain, struggling with math, or making mistakes are normal human experiences. When parents hold space for those messy feelings without reacting in horror, a temporary academic setback remains just that, a setback, not a defining trauma to the child's identity. This brings us to a difficult truth highlighted in this passage. Our culture demands that every child be treated as special or extraordinary, but children are naturally fluid, capable of both giftedness and complete ordinariness. Labeling a child as extraordinary might sound like a compliment, but it quickly becomes a heavy standard. It forces them to perform a specific, curated version of themselves just to maintain your approval. Accepting that your child is fine being ordinary is a radical act. The need for a red carpet existence belongs to the parent's ego, not the child's authentic spirit. It takes courage to go against the crowd and stop measuring your family by external standards. True connection means attuning yourself to the ordinary reality of the child sitting right in front of you. When a child is raised in this environment of complete as-is acceptance, their internal landscape changes. Freed from the job of managing their parents' emotions or fulfilling their fantasies, the child builds a sturdy, unshakable sense of self-worth. They learn to trust their own inner voice. This doesn't exempt them from the realities of life. They will still lose jobs, get frustrated, and cry themselves to sleep. Life will still throw curveballs. The difference is how they process those hardships. Because their core identity was never tied to perfection, they can draw on their own internal resources to handle failures without sinking into shame and self-loathing. They become self-governed and resilient. Realizing this requires us to stop looking at our children as problems to be fixed and turn the lens inward. Conscious parenting requires a parent to confront their own past conditioning and heal their inner wounds, moving far beyond simple disciplinary tactics or hacks. Just try looking at your child today. See them as a completely independent, sovereign human being, someone whose life is a movie of their own making, independent of your successes or failures. The ultimate gift we can offer them is to drop our agendas, step out of the way, and love them entirely for the simple, profound fact that they exist.